My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon 2. We are in the very start of the Tangle. We have formed two negative relationships in our party that lock up skills that we really want to use and give stress to members of my party when we use them. And of course we're all stressed to hell. Oh, there's a Shambless altar. Of course there's a Shambless altar. That's how that goes for me. It's also a lair boss fight. So, Oblivion's Ingress is on the left, up ahead, and it... I'll tell you what the problem here is. I want maximum value and also low risk. Fundamentally, the problem is that I want all risk, no reward. Sorry, all risk, no reward. No, the opposite. I want the other one. No risk, all reward. I was actually trying to screw it up that time in the other direction, and I screwed up screwing it up. Yeah, so there's... Oblivion's Ingress on the left side leads into a resistance encounter, leads into the academic study, leads into the lair, and leads into another Oblivion's Ingress, leads into the creature den, hero shrine, Oblivion's Ingress again, and then Oblivion's Rampart. They're gonna kick my ass off. We're gonna see a twinkle in the sky as it flies away like Team Rocket. But I must. But I must is the thing as well, because it's so good if it works.
Comes to thunder before our eyes.
Oh, gladly everyone wants to fight at least. Let's try and form better relationships for Mom's sake. Smoldering hymnal. Why? I was about to say, why do I not have access to bleed out? It's because, let it bleed is the ability I was looking for, and because bleed out is tagged instead. I'm gonna pass, unfortunately, incurring 2 stress. Because if I don't get to... Nice. Shadow Fade here, it's all kind of going to be for naught. Oh, stress time. Resolute. Oh! Everything has changed. The shape of the universe is completely different as a result of that one occurrence. Bolster removes 4 more stress from the party, gets another positive relationship interaction. We've got crit tokens. We're about to probably get a crit token as well as a damage token. Oh, never mind! We don't manage to go first. Ah, of course, because of the extra speed that Jazzy got from the Shadow Fade. Leading into... Flashing daggers for huge blight on each of those targets.
Stupendous.
I do have the ability to remove crit tokens, right? Not that it matters.
For who knows what lurks in the beyond.
Let's intentionally completely screw the enemy's positioning. Never mind. 10% resist. Got him. I will elect to take this opportunity to bellow at the enemy. Slow them all down. No, my crit token. I wanted that. I was going to use it for critting. Even more blight.
Malaise. Measured and steady.
Unfortunately, continually stressing out a party member. Hey, there we go, I'll take you. Disharmony for 6 damage, you managed to move back. Let's rectify that position. Never mind. This party is really just pushing the enemies every which way. That's the theme of it. Oh, 20% chance for an extra action. Didn't get it. So I'll just make sure to put the enemy back in the worst available position for them. One evangelist down. I mean, I would love to use bolster on literally anyone right now, but I cannot. There's no stress to be saved. Man, I really need to untag toe-to-toe so that I can fix my positioning.
Mistimed. Misdirected.
Oh, I got a target for the bolster. I have too many targets for the bolster. I know that the Herald is going to die the next time it tries to use an action, so I don't need to deal with that. I could eat a corpse. Yeah. Dead of Night, one of the corpses away for a little bit of stress recovery there at the end. And then Thumb. So yeah, entirely based off of the fact that we got a resolute charge there, that worked out okay. Main problem being we can't usually expect that.
Loathing abates.
I'm going to give the Dead Ringer to Jazzy to give the ability to stun enemies. Also going back to John now. Let's... Can't untag toe-to-toe. I'm gonna have to untag Adrenaline Rush, our healing ability. Not happy about that, admittedly. Convert dodge. Range damage up. I really don't use range damage enough to justify the replacement of any other trinket here on Jazzy. It's not range damage that's doing it, it's blight damage that's doing it. Which actually really makes me feel like I need to replace that with a blight resistance piercing trinket of some kind. Because it's my other abilities that give me blight resistance piercing. So late in the fight, I don't really have much blight ability.
Agony by accumulation.
Ah, there we go. Something I can actually do on turn 1 again. Yay! Without Sky Slap's tags, I know that pulling that target forward is our best. Still gonna use Shadow Fade. And realistically, yep, just manage stress. I mean, we're on a road fight. What better opportunity to manage stress?
Steady yourself.
Alright. Do I bellow at him? That seems appropriate. Get that dodge target removed.
Victory supposes strategy. Press on.
I can blind John again? I mean, John's not going to get unblinded before the end of the match, I assume. Let's try and Push a grave behind her to make her slightly more accessible. Oh man, the crits are coming out fast and furious here. No stress recovery though. Speaking of stress recovery though, we'll get a little bit of it done with the Grave Robber. Coming in, fails even to strike the enemy. Oh, weird reconstruction for 1 health? Yikes. Lunge roll's relatively low on damage as well.
Cooperation is the key.
While I can daze the enemy, unfortunately, John wants to act pretty early in this fight. Come on, good health. 25! Almost maximum amount of health that I could have provided there. That'll do. One last attempt to try and bolster for some sort of success. We get very little out of it, but that's okay.
Abandoned or forgotten. It is ours now.
I only have to make sure that by the time I get to the... Wait. Oh, of course, yeah, we have trinkets, we just don't want them. Extra healing given, less healing received from skills. Sure, that seems appropriate for you. Oh, I was about to say, we've just got to make sure that we have access to a combat item for the backline, and we'll be prepared for the lair fight, which is still 2 locations in the future.
Resigned. The Lost Battalion shambles on.
Jazzy is on guard, so we'll give a block token to everyone as well as increase some relationships here. Should definitely deal with those archers as soon as possible. They have a move from up to position 2. There we go, I think that's more fair. Which is to say, the enemy is going to have to use a bad attack this round, and then they are dead next round.
We can rely only upon each other.
Go for stress recovery immediately here. We also do get a block plus token out of it, so it's not like it's not great. Unfortunately though, no, we're not yet afflicted with inability to gain any future block tokens. Instead of using flashing daggers here, I think I'm going to opt to use poison dart for the enemy backline. Because I still do need to be pushing my damage there directly.
A breakthrough.
Great crit. I'm going to work towards pulling the Arbalest out of position. I might be able to push the unit in front of them behind them as a way of managing their position. Oh, it also looks like these units, these foot soldiers, definitely don't want to be in the back line. A trophic cut is probably not the move they wanted to use there. If I could hazard a guess. Unfortunately, Rampart doesn't make a huge amount of sense here. I'm going to go with Stand Fast. Pick up some block while I still can. I mean, the most sense is in trying to use Poison Dart there, I believe, still. Alright, let's blind John, or risk it at least. Thankfully we do resist it. Okay, both of those block tokens were extremely useful, but I cannot gain block anymore.
Can make all the difference.
Double stress off of our occultist. John, now would be an appropriate time for some sort of a death door.
continues.
There's a DOT on that final enemy, so I already know they're taken care of. But I might as well do it personally, just in case I get any effect.
One less obstacle in our path.
Oh, another mastery. We are getting a kind of ridiculous amount of masteries, actually, over the course of this.
When deliberation is exhausted, trust your instincts.
Annoyingly, I'm gonna get 2 loathing pretty much no matter which path I take here. Let's go to the scary song first.
Despair and disorientation steal your mind as we pass through the void.
I don't really tend to like almost any of the academic study trinkets in a way that
Loathing whispers.
kind of deeply unfortunate. They all seem especially situational. Ridiculously so. The birdsong of my homeland. That guarantees John gets a positive quirk. What? John, you're on guard? When'd that happen? What? Sick. That's really good. Turning those dodge tokens to dodge plus tokens would be nice. Oh, Dead Ringer! Actually, if I bellow with Eloise, Dead Ringer might hit all of the enemies. Okay, I can actually see a way by which we now do try and use the parrying Patriarch, and we use the Dead Ringer on Eloise for that effect. 'Tis unnatural music coming out of metal, says Eloise. I'm gonna agree with John, get my positive quirk here. Martyr! -1 stress per round while on death's door. Okay. Hopefully that has some other benefits that we can glean.
I trust you have calculated your odds carefully.
I have indeed.
This will not be easy.
I know. Dead of Night can't be activated in that fight, so we'll go with Absinthe just in case. And I need to make sure I have Sky Slaps. Other than that, I'm pretty much as well prepared as I possibly could be for a lair fight here. Might as well guarantee my opening damage. No need to play dice with that. I could bellow at all of them to remove that dodge as well as possibly the riposte if I connect. But it's difficult not to just riposte immediately on turn 1 here. That's fine. Sorry, riposte, I mean bolster for the -4 stress in a single action there. Oh. 2 dodge tokens, 2 75% dodge tokens. Sorry, 2 75% dodge tokens and 2 stealth tokens. I said dodge rather than stealth at the start of that. What is happening? Yeah, I'm just gonna throw the poison dart for the backliner. Gotta start working on him somehow.
Mistimed, misdirected.
They dodged, I dodged, we dodged. Some artillery to keep up that
In
damage.
crisis, we can rely only upon each other.
Give them all a wee bit of a yelling at. Uh-oh. That's a combo token set up that I don't really have a way to intervene. And that's what that was gonna do. Oh well. That target will bleed out. Ooh, we got resistance. That was a 7% chance on that resist there. Oh my god, we also got resisted there. That's really annoying. If we weren't resisted on the second strike, or the first strike, either or, we would have taken the dog down. There's 2 more stress off of our party. 2 characters will now die as well, which is still good. Still pretty well managed.
They falter, so press your advance.
Might as well lunge my way forward. Changing party positioning seems to be an incredibly good way to set up relationship buffs. That's all that was needed. I mean, we got some stress down. We got like 3 positive relationship triggers over the course of that fight.
In the extreme. This work is noble and necessary.
Okay, I'm going to have a quick look at our bleed. That is from Crow's Feet. I don't think I need that, so instead of using the bleeding effect in order to trigger the hit against the enemy backline, I'm going to use the chalk dust effect. That doesn't end up removing stealth on our characters or something like that, right? Maybe I should have someone else do it just in case. Eloise, you'll hold that. Also, just thinking about the torch for a bit, because we do have a glimmer of hope we've collected. I also really want to know what's going on with my stagecoach. Before each location, chance to produce contraption items. I don't think I've produced a single contraption. And I also have the owl, increased chance of producing items from stagecoach. What heck? What heck? Let's make sure we are holding as many bandages as we can. And we are, because we're not holding any. So we can't increase that stack. I set up everything already. Let's go.
Within every keep, a general and his loyal lumbering guard.
I mean, I'd love to be pulling people out of position here. Just not totally in the cards at the moment.
Emboldened.
Oh, I'm gonna be struck like the Dickens here in the front line. Alright, let's stand fast. Alright. Double dodge, baby! Get him! Now I get chomped, and I save 3 HP on the chomping. Piercing bolt comes through, crits for 15. That's really frustrating. I mean, that's a huge amount of damage the Hellion is now capable of wielding, which is good, obviously. It's just, the whole, Oh no, I can guard. We're fine. I'm not even gonna defend you.
A slow dissection. An unavoidable end.
In fact, let's heal you for 20. Not even bleed you. And then, as a fun bit, I'm not even gonna guard you. Let's bolster for some negative stress. Especially now that I have 2 targets on the field that are viable for it. Definitely feels like I'm gonna have to use it multiple times over the course of this fight.
Hold fast.
Can you stop critting her?
In the beyond.
She's been crit already. Good God. Alright. Soul in the front line with 14. Also try and go for a Howling End. And I will. I will try and go for a Howling End. Let's have a comfy, weird reconstruction, though. Gosh, those heals are going so well. Light combo for the back line, no more Obelisk. Goodbye to one of the enemies. That's on death's door, you're ready to die. And... Thump! So, before that unit acts in this round, I have free reign. See if I possibly crit on my debuff. We do not. Bolster. Oh, still. Really good positive relationship trigger there, and... Only makes sense to roll the possible crit, see if it gets any AoE healing. It does not, that's okay. Pretty much everyone's ready for a bolster. Now, if you'll only stress out my frontliner again, please. Hellions in the very back line. Okay, we're gonna have to change how we intend to approach this fight. I'm gonna have to open with the double move to rectify our party positioning there in a way that is just not how we wanted to do it. I'm gonna roll stand fast early here rather than bolster immediately because I suspect I'm probably gonna get the removal of 4 stress from it pretty easily. I need to make sure the drummer goes down as quickly as possible. I don't really care about focusing on the knight at all until that's occurred. In fact, I don't care about focusing on the drummer at all until the bishop's dead, because the bishop will bring the knight back. Sorry, the drummer back.
The enemy weakens and wanes.
There's some unworthiness purged. Flashing blade strikes, but misses. Tell them to slay the wounded? Wait. What do you mean by that? Focus fire, but we resist. I am gonna go for the Sky Slaps. It's just so important that those backline units get dealt with soon enough. Yes, especially because you now have 3 stacks of Benediction, enabling you to do some truly nutty things. Let's... Oh, gosh. I'm gonna use Bolster early. Maybe I should have used it on the first turn as well. If this stresses out our front line, never mind. Okay. Well, at least I planted that tree at the second best time to plant a tree. Wee bit of crit. Bishop. Yep. Resurrects the target, but they are now dead. That is to say, the bishop is now dead to the next action.
Malaise, measured and steady. Well done.
Oh, I would love to get some stress healing for a crit. Oh, what a time it would be. Oh, that's a big bleed on the Hellion that doesn't have a way to self-heal.
A simple variable, easily resolved.
Definitely got to keep that Hellion safe, but... Can I go with not bolstering? No, I can't. I have to roll the Defender because it's entirely possible that Weird Reconstruction does nothing.
Generosity, but a welcome one nonetheless.
Thankfully, it did heal for more than it's going to bleed for. No, but we're still going down to death's door. Hell yeah. I'm gonna pop a healing salve on myself. Start bleeding the enemy.
A slow dissection. An unavoidable end.
I think it's totally appropriate to try and rock a weakened target there too. Crit you for a bunch of blight. On guard! Really? With the riposte right before I bellow? I mean, it's a kindness. I'll say that certainly. I'm gonna selfishly pull that healing salve. Oh! Weird reconstruction. Forsaken? What? Someone else needed to heal. Don't be greedy. Oof. I don't want to kill the enemy here. Importantly, I'm actually not trying to kill. I'm trying to lower its death blow resists. Dang. I wanted to get one more healing action out. Vulnerability to strength. Weakness. Sorry, vulnerability to block, weakness to strength. Gnarly Knuckles for melee skills doing 20% extra damage. Also the Unwavering Standards, not bad for us. Negative 75% to trinket prices in the Nightmare's End does allow us to, in inns, buy things quite cheaply. Luxury gear, chance to produce woven items. Sure.
He has retreated, undying, into a dream. And there he must stay.
So here in the first round, I do not need to deal with the Taproot at all. Thankfully, I'm going to pop Stimulant for the plus speed and attack on the Hellion. And then Shadow Fade my way to the back. Start setting up some blights. Setting up vulnerability on the enemy, I feel, is not going to be especially effective. So let's weaken. Ooh, got a crit token for my troubles.
In crisis, we can rely only upon each other.
As much as I would love to do something else, Bolster here for -4 stress, and then keeping Bolster ready to do again in a different situation like this just seems too impactful. Creeping growth against both our midliners. See if I can crit for the maximum blight. Nice. 5 blight for 5 turns. Resisted the bleed, unfortunately, there. Abyssal Artillery. Sky slaps both targets. Getting a small recession from the growth there.
Confers advantage.
I could use Chalk Dust this round, but I don't know how long the fight's going to be. Chalk Dust is for the off turns when I can't Bellow, because Bellow has a cooldown of 1. Soil has stirred. Oof. Those whispers are mighty unsettling. I'm gonna pop Stimulants again.
Cooperation is the key.
I want the Hellion acting as quickly as possible, please. can't heal the Hellion this round either, unfortunately. I can do it next round when I have a free action courtesy of Bellow. Oh, wow. Okay. Shock Dust and Bolster to remove the negative strength. On Death's Door, you lose some stress, because of course you do. That's how you work. If it bleeds for minimal damage, but at least we do hit the bleed. 23 health.
Arrest this collapse.
And now with two vines down, I can Chalk Dust and then Bellow in order to force both growths to recede here, I believe. Grand. So nice does onto two of our targets. Thankfully, they are the two targets that are the comfiest. I'm going to continue throwing these blights, but they're not going to be especially impactful anymore, unfortunately. Oh, I'm low rolling on the damage and also not hitting the bleed, which is possibly the worst combination.
Empowered, emboldened.
I'm out of Chalk Dust. I'm out of Chalk Dust very early on in this fight. Much earlier than I thought I would be. Oh boy.
There is comfort in company.
I can't have the... I just can't have the Hellion locked out of ability to act. The growths need to recede. So Superstar's now back line. We hear some unsettling whispers. And the growths come for them too. I think I still need to be in this position. I don't think Howling End makes a huge amount of sense, but it would put me instead in the other position for the sake of the... Oh no, but I also moved myself back out of the ability to even use Sky Slaps in the first place. Oh, resisting the bleed! That's 217% resists in a row. That's devious. I have to push so much of our damage to other things because of that.
The fiend's strength dwindles.
That's really frustrating. Thankfully we didn't bleed, moms. I really wasn't expecting the Resolute there. Well, a lot of our positive relationship charges, at least, are, you know, good. I've got a Bellow in order to try and keep people comfortable and happy and alive.
Fatigue.
HP's not low enough for Absinthe to heal us. Gosh, that's really unfortunate.
In crisis, we can rely only upon each other.
I'm deeply behind the turn order right now. In a way that is very uncomfortable. I'm going to try and prevent a future stressing out, and we're going to start losing characters. Good thing I tried to prevent that. We're not going to start, like, losing characters, but, like, yeah, I'm not going to be preventing that strangle in any efficient way here, for instance. Oh! Well, that stressed it out. Another meltdown. Even worse relationships in the party now. The enemy does have Deathblow resist, so I'm just going to get them there and then start swinging against it. That's, I think, the best that I am capable of by far. Die. 2 meltdowns? I mean, you know.
The loathing abates.
Worse things have happened, I'm sure. I can't name any of them off the top of my head. But I'm certain if I took 5, 6, 7 years, I might think of a couple. I'm gonna de-tag Wicked Hack and just use Howling End if I ever need to hit directly the frontliner, because bleed out. So that I can tag Adrenaline Rush and still have some healing available for our occultists. Occultists, sorry. Speaking of occultist, we'll get the Demon's Pull back, but for our Helion. Oh yeah! Sorry, our reward for surviving that fight is now we get to die to an Oblivion's Ingress, which is, you know, fancy. Plus 20% to healing given. So I think if we put a healing salve on you, that will good be. Actually, John, you should try and bleed people out. Eloise, you should save people from... Couch of Lie, clearing all corpses. No, fine with that. The burn resist for the occultist is barely anything, but Footman's Grog will actually change negatives that the occultist incurs, especially from turn start. I guess the big burn resist is just not going to be used by anyone. John, Gnarly Knuckles are nice, but they're not worth the value that the other 2 trinkets are providing to you in synergy with one another at this point in time. So we'll drive onwards.
Resigned to the end of things, they waited for death. And still they wait.
Oh, it's gonna be a while, buddy. I don't intend on dying. Oh, yes! Jazzy is darkly curious. To fight the shadow, you must embrace it. Make them all vulnerable. Never mind. Become vulnerable is apparently the effect of that, and I had misattributed it. Oops, oops, oops. All good. I'm just gonna start working on these backliners. What do you mean we're so much better off than... Dummy? That's not what you mean. I'm certain of it. Herald number 1, dead. Burn did actually come into play. Imagine my surprise. Alright. -4 stress from the body immediately release. Blood commune connects and does manage to bleed. I could very much see a case for using Adrenaline Rush right now. Yep. It heals me right now, and then every single time I strike for the next 3 turns, it will heal us another 20%. Especially considering the positioning.
Agony.
That makes huge sense to me. The bleed on the occultist is probably a little much at the moment, so I'm going to use a bandage there and ruin my relationship with the Hellion by doing so. I'm also going to elect to defend the occultist, who's otherwise having a wee bit of a tough time. Let's see if I can pull the Herald to the front of the party. Thankfully, this doesn't actually stop the Evangelist in the backline from having to use a suboptimal move. Minimum damage, but we managed to hit the bleed, so that's good enough. Disharmony, backwards.
We can rely only upon each other.
Sure, I could get single bleed off myself. Very low utility in doing that. I think the fight will go long enough that it's worth another bolster right now. Also, bolster does give me a block plus token myself, so it's far from useless. Huge heals from this weird reconstruction consistently. Very happy to see that. Especially because it has kind of been necessary. It's kind of really helpful. Would have loved to hit that. Demon's Pull, again, would get the Herald and one of the Evangelists severely out of position. Love to see that. And that's the last move you'll ever get to make.
But deadly all the same.
And that's the last move you'll ever get to make. Woohoo!
A brilliant conclusion.
Alright, and I will... I'd rather not bleed out if possible. Use bandages. But bellow at all the enemies.
Weaken them, that another may finish the work.
Small amount of additional healing here by striking a target down. Oh! Strike a second target down. 20% chance for another?
But effective.
Alas. Crit, but it only restores 8. And it damages as well. And then the Herald is going to die as soon as their turn starts, so there's no reason to do anything past that point. Yeah, some stress management there. We got a lot of
An inkling of
mastery from this run so far.
In some of these well-worn relics.
Dark Impulse. Plus 50% resistance to bleed. However, if you are bleeding, you're probably going to get stressed about it. I'd love to have more bleed resistance on our Hellion. Just courtesy of how often that seems to be relevant, but I'm also not willing to really change anything about my party in order to accommodate that. Alright, we got a Creature's Den ahead as well. Yay! Another opportunity to hopefully get some stress healing in early combats. If we can manage the round timer very effectively in that fight as well, we should be pretty blessed with the ability to get a bunch of recovery.
Properly excise our portion.
Oh wow, only Jazzy believes that we can do this, so we're gonna take another hit to our relationships. But I think it's worth it.
Empowered, emboldened.
Yep, gotta focus on that negative stress constantly. Because I've not been doing that so far, and it hasn't been helping. I really wish we got the extra piercing, extra blight resistance piercing for longer than one turn. Just seems like it has a lot more utility it could provide. Just gonna remove a dodge out of vulnerability. Something simple, you know? How dare you? Unfortunately, those targets have high blight resist, so they're not guaranteed to be taken down, but the stronger one will be. Gotta stress out Jazzy in order to do this, but I would like to get back to the front of the party, please. Good disease resist there, I guess. I'm gonna move you back into position. They got to pull the target so far forward because of the immobility of our Hellion, so everyone has to move around her. She's certainly not moving. I could use Howling End right now as well. Got another round after this, so I won't, but I could.
Malaise, measured and steady.
I'm just going to try and weaken targets on the board, make my life a little easier in the future. Preemptive healing there. Speaking of doing things preemptively, some stress recovery for our Hellion. Make sure the Carrion Devourer is not the last target available on this field. Word Reconstruction can now target the self, and we get a full 16 out of it. Love it. Ooh, 2 disease resists over the course of this fight. Are we going to be lucky enough for the third? That one's not even going to try us.
Cunning. You may outwit them yet.
One target has reached death's door. Munches happily, but yes, I think that will be enough. How dare you dodge me? I'll risk blinding John for the sake of that strike, I think. Frontliner with Blight. Allowing an extra action there that I didn't need to. Do I regret it? Not yet, but I might. In the future! No more stress to appropriately remove at this point in time. I want both of these creatures to die relatively early on. The one that acts next, unfortunately, is dazed and will be actually finishing at the end of the round. So I'm going to strike that target, because otherwise they are going to take 1 trillion years to die. Use the sack stab to fail to kill this target, and now instead I'm going to kill you at the start of the next round. Bellow to try and either slow you down or sort it out. Otherwise, I mean, I would love to use Adrenaline Rush right now. Am I okay to do that? I'm okay to do that. I can use Adrenaline Rush and then Lunge to buy myself a couple of free actions here. One of them can be removing a lot of dodge from tokens. From targets, rather. Did I bellow last round? I do believe I did. I'm concerned that maybe Defender on our Occultist seems like the best opportunity here. John, do you want to show this Weber what happens if it bleeds? It seems like that'll be pretty effective at it. How'd you stun him? He's 75% stun resist. That's his whole thing. Now he's taking extra damage. 50% extra damage if taken if stunned. Oh, that's a bit of a nightmare. Trying to weaken targets that might have been relevant to that. Blinded again. And now stunned. Good God. With that blight, I think the heal is totally appropriate. I'm gonna shadow fade my way out.
Sweat-soaked brows, unsteady stances. Exhaustion takes hold.
Lunge can ignore the target's dodge, but I also don't think I really care about ignoring the target's dodge. Realistically, I just need to get blight on someone. Or remove some dodge tokens as well. Great work on that one. Bellow finally gets to remove a bunch of the enemy tokens. And I'm gonna Demon's Pull in order to remove a corpse. That corpse was in an unfortunate position for the sake of my Grave Robber, who would otherwise like to be hitting 2 targets at the same time consistently, please.
Well done.
Ooh. Spitter is fully taken care of with that single action. Great, great.
Bafflement and vexation.
Barely any chance to have hit that, but of course, it's difficult to poison the venomous. Sure. For the sake of argument, let's just weaken you.
In crisis, we can rely only upon each other.
Actually, if I bolster here, I can remove 2 vulnerability tokens and gain a block plus token, which may have been, I was about to say the most efficient usage, but now I have 2 targets on 5 stress, so suddenly a much more efficient usage has revealed itself. Set a vulnerability on the target that is not necessarily going to die exceptionally soon here. I'm going to bellow at the enemies because I really do want to get to another round and to be capable of bolstering.
A breakthrough.
Woof. Light and bleed, how dare you.
The enemy weakens and wanes.
1 target down, 1 target, huge shield. Drop a bolster for -4 stress. Alright, that should be pretty much all that got written. Dead of Night for a little bit more stress recovery, as well as the stealth. Setting up for a possible lunge.
Interminable conflict.
I guess I could just drop the Howling End.
Worriment.
Seems like that might get it done too. Chitinous Appendage delivered combat, discounted combat and in items as well as 1 mastery.
The loathing abates.
We also dropped the final loathing that we'd picked up. We now only have a Hero Shrine, an Oblivion's Ingress, and an Oblivion's Rampart before the end of the floor. I mean, damn. I feel like we have really handled this pretty reasonably well. It could have gone so much worse if John had not been resolute at the start there.
Remember and reconcile.
That was an individual but hugely impactful role. Thank you muchly, John. Your level-headedness has saved us all.
By confronting the past, we learn to face the future.
Mom says I took too much and gained even more. But, the occultist, what happened next?
Chapter 4. The Guest.
Oh, haha!
Drawing vitality from the assembled mediums, he would hold fast against the thing and harness a portion of its power.
Okay, so behind us is the stress HP bar of a seance. I need to preserve the seance against the dimensional shambler. Channeling strength gives me unchecked power, and on target gives 2 stress and steals a combo token. And that can be targeted backwards. I can use Mind Over Matter to heal for 33%. Has a cooldown of 1, removes DOT tokens and all negatives. But again, steals combo and steals stress. There's also the Shifting Boundary, removes unchecked power in order to remove stress and combo from a target. And then finally the Weakening Curse, which I believe is what we should open with here. Weaken the target and set up vulnerability. Searing Stars, which I have to imagine is what I'm going to unlock as a result of this, says that it does 20 to 40 damage with a 30% crit chance and requires the self to have 2 or more power tokens. So I think I need to start channeling strength in order to prepare for Searing Stars. Yes, it has a cooldown of 1, so it can only be... Maybe I should have used that at the start of the turn. Weaken the target who weakened us. It's attempting to breach into our dimension. I imagine I shouldn't let it get the combo attack off that it is currently intending to do. I can only imagine that to be quite bad. So I can steal the combo off of it as well as gain an unchecked power by giving it 2 stress. Heal 33%, remove my burn and bleed, and all negative tokens, the weak. I have to give 2 stress to the event itself. I'm gonna do that. We're being asked to make way. Unfortunately, that does weaken us, and the enemy's vulnerability is removed, heavily hampering the amount of damage I can even do with the Searing Stars, which was otherwise probably gonna be my follow-up, because now I'm... Wait, Shifting Boundary can be used even if I don't have unchecked power. Got it. Searing Stars first. Power of the Void is mine. We get consumed. I feel like the Dimensional Shambler is going to try and make way again next. But I can steal the token away from that anyway. Okay. Let's shifting boundary first. Tell them that we are their shield. Be consumed again. Good bleed. Let's set up a weakness and vulnerability on the target as well. 2 weakness, rather. They elect to prepare the host, which is perfect. That sets up for a good opportunity to channel strength. Consume now strikes with combo. Healing 33% would be grand. Might have mattered. Give me 15% there. Alright. I'm gonna channel strength and just see. What are you gonna do? Ooh, you went to them. And you managed.
It is a difficult thing to face the past, and even more so, to reconcile with it.
The mistake I made there is thinking that only the actions of Marms the Occultist were contributing to the stress of the seance. And that the only way the Shambler could contribute to the stress of the seance was if they collected that combo token on them. However, that was not the case, so I effectively just set the table for the Shambler to eat my friends. Hopefully I still find 2 more hero shrines. This is my moment. Carry on should I fall. That makes us vulnerable, right? We don't need that, right? Pretty sure we don't need that, right? Standard opening to this fight here for us. Ooh, love to see Rush Judgment first there, because it pretty much guarantees the next movement is also going to be Rush Judgment. Why? Ooh, and a Clarion Call that fails. I could try and move the Evangelist. 40% resist chance on their side. I think I'm gonna elect to Bellow instead. Debuff everyone's speed there.
The Fiend's strength dwindles.
The Herald is already dead. Yay. I'm gonna be proactive with this one. Bandages and bolster.
There is comfort in company.
Rush Judgment yet again fails. This is what it is destined to do. Clarion Call sets up another target for a bolster in the future. Four and 7, just short of taking the Evangelist down to the ground. Let's go with vulnerability to remove the block plus token from the Evangelist here. Actually, you know what? No. Combo and weakness. Or just combo. I'll settle for, I guess. There's the flashing daggers with some additional blight in order to confirm some kills for us.
The key.
And I'm going to roll a defender to keep Moms comfortable. I know you just lost all your friends at a seance, but please don't freak out. Hey, there we go. Set up for another great bolster. Oh, love that. I think it's lunchtime. I can't yell that off you. I don't believe I upgraded bolster yet. Alright, I'm gonna manually just move backwards with Moms, enabling the toe-to-toe.
Steady yourself.
And start slow walking to try and get a little bit more dealt with here if possible.
We can rely only upon each other.
Thankfully that target is now in position, I was about to say, is now in position to be struck by every member of the party. But now I have to stress people out. And combo and even more weakness. Lunge.
A simple variable.
Another positive relationship chance there.
Easily resolved.
I think I've got one more Oblivion after this, right? Oh. Oh! Rotten Tomato. If in rank 1, negative 20% disease resist. But if in rank 2, 30% extra damage. And on hit with breakthrough skills, apply combo and a negative token. That might be a great reason to change up some of the abilities on this party.
The loathing abates.
Okay, unwavering standard. Each hero in combat start, get a block token a third of the time. I think that's pretty reasonable. John, I would love you to be faster without needing the Greater Wolf's Blood. Because if you're not first in the turn order, then Smoldering Hymnal does nothing for you. In which case, it's not really doing anything for anyone. Oh, it can make Moms faster. It's actually quite legitimate. Could even give 20% extra damage if I really want. Footman's Grog is nice on Moms, but unfortunately it applies at turn start, and so does the vulnerability from Occultist's Path Ritualist, but they don't interact. Actually, legitimately, what if I just went damage there and then speed? So the occultist just acts at the start of the round. Weakness and vulnerability can get converted. How often do I have those on Jazzy? Not often. Eloise, maybe you should take the Footman's Grog. And otherwise, we move on. Although I guess I should also probably drop some trinkets. Laden Lantern's never really going to be a significant part of this party. Neither's the Cleansing Censer. Neither is Adrenalizing Ash. Freeing up a bunch more space for us there. I can also now hold the Glimmers of Hope in Eloise's Man-at-Arms. Got one more road battle, one more cultist battle, and then we will have completed the realm from hell. Demon Pull. All the way out of position, thank you. Thankfully, putting us below 50% HP has given it plus 25% damage. I also have plus 20% damage and plus 30% damage, giving us a total of... That's right, damage, apparently. I could Howling End to immediately kill the Pillager Crackshot most of the time. I don't think I need to risk. Never mind, I'm just gonna crit it to death instantly. Seems like a slightly better decision, I guess. Torch? No, I'm gonna save the Glimmers of Hope for a future encounter that seems like it might need them. Otherwise, I have to buy them at the appropriate time, and I would rather not, thank you. Let's roll Defender here for the sake of the precarious HP bar of the Hellion.
Malaise, measured and steady.
That's enough. It only needed to not do the minimum damage in order to prevent that action, though
we can rely only upon each other.
Putting them out of position was also pretty effective. Still can't use Adrenaline Rush yet. Do I really just want to end it? Howling End? 3 bleed. If the Hellion goes before... The Hellion's not going to go before the Occultist in the next round. Okay.
Incremental, but deadly all the same.
That's fine. So it gets us out of the fight. We would have been below 33% HP if the Hellion had gone before.
A spark.
Taking a hit to their own bleed, and then the Occultist would have been able to hit him with the weird reconstruction. I can't wait to not have all these negative relationships in my party. That said, we also have a huge amount of negative relationships in our party at the moment, courtesy of the Occultist losing their a couple of times. That's a Cardinal in the back line, I believe. Tis indeed. Altar. And try and set up vulnerability on the altar. So your bleed resist is 40. So if I hit you with... If it bleeds 7% of the time, I'm going to manage to connect that damage to you. The vulnerability cancels out the enemy's... One sec. Random ally gets an extra turn 50% of the time at round end. Oof. But vulnerability cancelled out the block plus token of the altar. I can strike it directly. We crit it. Or bleed for the next 5 turns.
Unavoidable end.
There has to be a better move than just Rampart. I'm gonna roll stand up first. Love to dodge. Speaking of.
Excellent work.
Altar's not yet dead, unfortunately. I'm gonna put weaken in a combo token on the enemy front line. As long as the altar can't be saved, I'm happy. I think that altar is gonna get to its next turn and try and use a Zork end, but it's not gonna have time to, it'll just die immediately. Cardinal, can you heal?
What can we learn upon closer inspection?
Nope, nothing can prevent that altar from dying now. Great. Maximum damage, and we connect the bleed. About as good as that gets. Woof. Very glad I dealt with the stress on that target already. Could have been a lot worse. Smoldering Hinder. Who do I want to pull forward? Do I want to pull forward the...
Analysis is the natural prelude to action.
Yeah, I do want to pull forward the Cardinal. Because it's 2 size, it managed to put the Evangelist out of position. Ah, the Evangelist then uses a very large heal. How dare you. Let's use an anti-venom to try and help out the back line there. I see you struggling. And use Poison Dart on the Evangelist for the possibility of the crit and giant blight going out there. Hollow Vessel still misses our targets. And if I manage to push the Evangelist, which we do, we're going to be able to get it through not be able to act appropriately in this round. 22 health. Hell yeah. Alright, down to death's door. That should prevent anything too significant. That counts. Target's now on death's door. As soon as it attempts to act, it will end the fight. Or rather, it will end the Evangelist. Use Howling End, which fails, unfortunately. Let's... Dead of Night a Corpse for some stress recovery.
A deliberate and methodical appliance of harm.
Oh wow, I actually thought I had access to Bolster for another turn. I'm gonna yell at the enemy and hope that we do get another turn here. We don't. Ugh. Again, we're going back to the inn with a bunch of stress on our party. Finally, we have an actual trinket we can activate, and it's Selfish Motivation. If a stained item is equipped, plus 50% damage per negative token. At turn start, gain a negative token. Do I want that? We can give ourselves some negative tokens with toe-to-toe, but they're typically removed before I get to use any of them. Yeah, I really don't see anyone actually wanting to wield that. The Anchoring Charm. Extra stun resist, no. Oh boy. maybe there's a bunch of inn items for stress removal in the next inn. That would be great. As well as for relationship management. Just all of the items would be pretty useful in some way, please.
The fire is lit. The table is set. The inn awaits its favorite guests.
A moment's peace we failed to do. A moment's peace, I think, was that don't do 6 road fights?
Precious relics remind us of a time before the end.
Road gear, road gear, road gear, road gear. Oof. Would have loved some more stuff. Songbook of Amorous Ballads. And it is quite cheap. Poetry for some positive and positive relationship between targets as well as stress recovery. Neat. Very glad to see all of these.
The next stop is leagues away. Plan accordingly.
So I could swap Nightmare's End on for a millisecond here in order to pick up one of the trinkets if I really wanted to. The Greater Anchoring Charm for 50% move resist as well as some stun resist. It's there. I don't want it.
And cantrips of the land, crumbling and undone.
His rings. For the Grave Robber, Poison Dart does +2 blight, and on crit, range skills do 2 blight. If in rank 1, take 75% extra damage. I do want that. Cosmic Curiosity in the Shroud. So 100% scouting will give me the ability to find all of the academic studies, and then I just gotta go to them. That's probably gonna include a Shambler, so I should have a little bit of preparation as to how I intend to take out a Shambler. You know, I actually think I'm gonna do the inn management here before the start of the next area because we're gonna be preparing for the Leviathan as well as the Shambler. So for the moment, my name has been Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Darkest Dungeon 2. Top left is a series playlist for all my content of the game past, present, future, YouTube recommendation. Down below is stream past the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays and above the thank you. And a special thanks to this episode to Disney Mir. Hopefully you'll have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.